Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another live stream. And tomorrow night, it is the big one, Chelsea's biggest game of the season, Real Madrid versus Chelsea at the Bernabeu. First leg of the Champions League quarter-final. Chelsea, in all honesty, are going to need a miracle in Madrid. There's some positive news, though. Kante's fit, Mason Mount fit, Thiago Silva fit. We're going to need all the help we can get in this one. Is Frank Lampard going to stick with a 4? Is he going to stick with a 3? Or switch to a 3, back to a 3, you know? There's lots of questions. This is our biggest game of the season, but the most important thing that we have to do is make sure that we're still in the tie ahead of the second leg next week. There's no point going to Madrid and tomorrow night and, you know, trying to, you know, outplay them and trying to kind of get as big an advantage as we can, because we don't want to get beaten at our own game. So what we need to do is just stay in the tie, play safe, park the bus as much as possible, try and hit them on the break and make the most of the opportunities that we do have. So when we're in possession, just keep the ball, nothing stupid, and just do what we can. I mean, never say never with Chelsea in the Champions League. You just never know. But the reality of the situation is it's a massive uphill task. But there's loads to get into, the game, tactics, but there's some news to get into as well. Chilwell's new contract, whether João Felix should be kept on a permanent or not. But Dharmesh, thanks for coming as always, mate. Massively appreciated. Champions League can be a very helpful change of tact for Chelsea, considering how poor the league campaign's been this season. We've done pretty well this season in the Champions League. You know, the group stage and whatnot, it was pretty good. Dortmund, we managed to turn it round under Graham Potter. He's no longer here now. Real Madrid, obviously a different kettle of fish, particularly in this competition. They are the kings of the of the Champions League. Despite the fact that they're struggling really badly domestically, 15 points off the pace in La Liga. I think that almost helps them, knowing that their league season's done, so they can just fully focus on this. How are you feeling ahead of this one? Are you kind of a bit more optimistic compared to if it was a Premier League game?
Yeah, big up, Charlie. Big up the chat as well. Thanks for having me on as always, bro. It's a bit of both, to be honest. I'm slightly nervous, but at the same time, it's like we throw everything into this game tomorrow, and yeah, it's literally do or die for our season. So either way, I think I'm just checked out of this season, to be honest. Apart from the Champions League, to be honest with you, like those are the sort of games that I'm sort of excited for, to be honest, because I know under Lampard we're not gonna progress that much. In my opinion, anyway, the highest we'll probably finish is probably 9th, and that means no European football for next season. So with respect to that, just throw everything into the Champions League. And I mean, the positivity that's come out of our season has been the Champions League, to be honest. Like, we've been good in the Champions League, like, apart from, I think 1 or 2 games. Like, literally, we've done really well against AC Milan, against Dortmund as well.
I mean, even that first leg in Dortmund that we actually lost, we played really well, and we you know, did more than enough to actually win that. So
yeah,
you know, I think that, I mean, look, we've not played amazing sides. You know, AC Milan aren't what they used to be. They're still Champions League quarterfinalists. Dortmund are a decent side, not amazing, but you can only beat what's in front of you. And
yeah,
I don't know. I think this Real Madrid team is beatable. You can get at them. It's just you've got 100%. To make sure that. But for us, you know, everything's got to be right. You know, we can't have a single slip, be milliseconds out in terms of like timing of tackles, etc. Everything's got to be bang on. We cannot make any mistakes at all, and it's not really something we've done too often this season, is have like a really good game. But the really good games have come in the Champions League. So let's wait and see what happens. But before we get into the game in a bit more depth, mate, let's just get into a few bits of news that have come in the last couple of days or so since the Wolves game. And let's start with some positive news then. Ben Chilwell has signed a new contract at Chelsea, taking his deal that was due to expire in 2025 up until 2027 now. And he said on that signing, I feel very settled at Chelsea and I've really enjoyed my time on the pitch here. So I'm very pleased the club want me to be part of the project long term. And I'm very happy to sign this extension to my contract. We are all working hard for success, and I'll do my best to bring more smiles to the faces of the fans who have made me feel so welcome. Fantastic news in a season that's been not had an awful lot of good news. It's great for me personally to see Ben Chilwell, despite, you know, everything that's going on this season, you know, players still want to stay at the club and, you know, are convinced by the project and think it's the right place to be. Chilwell seems like a great character. He's been fantastic since he's coming from Leicester, 50 million, one of our most important players, and he's been superb in recent weeks, particularly when we reverted back to the back three system. And he's only 26 years of age, and he's going to be really, really important to us going forward. So, mate, I mean, you must be delighted, and it's great news for the club that Chile has put pen to paper on that new deal.
Yeah, literally, I was saying earlier as well, like I think all of the signings that we sort of made for the past 2 to 4 seasons, I think Chilwell's definitely been one where we can sort of have no complaints about, to be honest, because he's settled into the squad, settled into the team really well. In that sort of Lampard era, when he was obviously permanent manager, he obviously signed him, was a major factor in bringing Chilwell to the club. And in that season, I think Silva and Chilwell were probably the signings of the season, along with Edouard Mendy at the time. So, yeah, really glad he's staying, and that's sort of dead and buried any Man City rumours that were lurking around for the past month or so when Cancelo left. So, yeah, glad to see Chilwell staying, and yeah, he's an integral person for our team to progress forward and defensively as well. Improved a lot over the past sort of few seasons, even when he had those injuries and stuff. I think he's come back really well from them, and yeah, long may it continue with Chilwell. He's the least of our worries in a sense. Maybe I think maybe the fitness and the injury sides of things, but he's reacted okay to it now. So yeah, really pleased he signed.
I mean, it kind of looks like those injury issues, touch wood, seem to be behind him now. He's obviously had a difficult time, that ACL injury and then that hamstring injury, which seemed pretty long term. But, you know, he's played a lot of football in the last months, and, you know, he seems to have those injuries behind him. I mean, what do you look at his best position as? Because for me, it's a left wing back. We haven't seen an awful lot of him in a flat back four. He can still do that job there, but I don't feel it gets the best out of him. Would you agree that? I mean, obviously, we're not going to play a back three, I don't think, forever. Of course, we're not. The next manager that comes in will probably go with a four. And I think the idea is to go with a four when we sign a holding midfield player in the summer. But, I mean, do you think, what do you think gets the best out of Chile? Because for me, I feel the left wing back role is perfect for him. He gets forward really well. He's got a good finish on him. He's got good delivery. And that just gets limited a little bit in the left back slot. So for me, left wing back's his best position. But I mean, what are your thoughts on where he's best, or what his best position is?
It's a hard one. I think he can play both. It's a bit similar to Reece James, where they could both play the role really well, but you prefer them to see further up the field because of the sort of technical ability they've got and the link-up play they have. So yeah, I personally at the moment prefer him at left wing back, but I think eventually when we transition back to a back four, that is, then yeah, I've no worries about him adjusting back to back four, because at Leicester he played in the back four most of the time, didn't he, as well? So and Leicester were quite good in that season, just before we sold him as well. So yeah, for me, left wing back for the moment, but it'd be interesting to see when we do revert back to back four how he'll sort of adapt, and there'll be sort of less pressure on him and Reece to sort of provide attacking returns for us when they shouldn't really, ideally.
I mean, yeah, well, hopefully next season, you know, the impetus is not going to be, obviously we want them to contribute, but they know we're not going to be relying on them to contribute for us to do well. Hopefully the attack will be clicking better than it is, and these guys can play a major part. But it's great news to see that Chilwell's tied down now. You look at the guys that are tied down long term, obviously all the new signings. Then you've had contract extensions for Reece James, Broja, Chilwell. I think Chalobah signed a new contract not so long ago as well. So, you know, we're tying down a core group of good young players for the next years at the club, which can only be a positive. Let me get to a few things in the chat. By the way, guys, keep smashing the likes. Let's get those likes up. Nowhere near enough likes at the moment. So let's get those up to well past 10. So keep smashing the likes, guys. It's free, it's nice and simple, and it really helps me out. Let me get to a few things in the chat. Yes, big up, Dead in the Water. Thanks for tuning in, bro. If Havertz start, I won't even turn it on. I mean, I mean, you probably will, but yeah, I know what you're saying. But what I would say is that Havertz in the Champions League seems to be slightly different. I know it's like I'm not advocating for him to start, but in a Champions League, he does seem to do a bit better. Yes, Pez Lord, big up. I think Kante and Silva is big. We didn't have those against Wolves. No, we didn't have them against Wolves, but I'm not sure if that would have helped us create any chances, because the problem against Wolves was we created absolutely nothing, and neither of those players are creative. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big plus for sure. If Havertz doesn't, I'd be shocked if Havertz doesn't start. Who can we play except Havertz? Yeah, I mean, look, it's going to be tricky to see who we play instead. Lampard will drop.
Sterling.
Yeah, maybe Sterling plays. Lampard will drop Havertz in the Prem, but no choice in the Champions League. Yeah, there's not really a choice in the Champions League, unless you go Felix, Sterling, Mudryk, which is that's probably the only choice you could do is if you go with that front three. It has to be a back three tomorrow night. Trouble is that means Cucurella plays unless Chalobah plays. Yeah, look, I mean, it is going to be basically have to be Cucurella or Chalobah in that back three. But we have to play the back three. I honestly feel that, and I'm prepared to accept that I'm wrong. I'll be more than happy to accept I'm wrong. But I think it's virtually impossible for us to get a positive result if he plays the back four tomorrow. I think it's as simple as that. I mean, we'll get into that in a bit more detail shortly. Moving away from Ben Chilwell's good news that he signed a new contract at Chelsea. We love Chile. News yesterday, Fabrizio Romano reporting that Chelsea want to keep Joao Felix and they want him as part of the long-term plan. The Blues are happy with his impact and Felix is keen on staying. The deal would depend on how much Atletico ask for, but talks will take place soon. And obviously, it will depend on the new manager as well. Now, this is something that's kind of divided opinion a little bit. And I'm not too sure why. I think the fee is a lot. We paid £11 million to get him here in the first place. If it was like 85 million that has been reported in the past, it takes it over £100 million for Felix, which, I think he's a good player. He's young. He fits what we're looking for. End product needs improvement, but you would imagine that would improve as he matures as a footballer. And I think he would fit in. But again, when you've got Havertz and Nkunku coming and Felix, all guys that like to play that second striker /10, I don't think there's space for all three of those in the squad. We know that a lot of players are going to leave in the summer, the likes of your Ziyech's, your Pulisic's, etc. But I mean, I'd like to keep Felix permanently. I really would, but it depends on who leaves because I'm not sure. We're then suddenly going to be in a position where we, in essence, have 3 10s/second strikers with only really one spot available. Yes, he's versatile, but I wouldn't say he was like a right-sided or a left-sided player. I mean, what are your thoughts on keeping him? I'm keen to keep him, but the price needs to be right. And, it depends what else the makeup of the squad's going to be because we don't want to suddenly become overstocked in that number 10 area.
Yeah, I think for me, the reason why people are sort of dividing on Felix stems from the reason that Nkunku's obviously coming in the summer as well. And a lot of people are saying that we can't really play them two together. But I think what I would personally do is potentially have another loan for him and have an option to buy for next season or for the season after next. So take another loan, maybe pay another 10 to 12 million, but then have that clause where we can buy him the season after, just to see how Nkunku and Felix sort of link up, if that's a possibility to do with Atletico, and then obviously we can offer them players as well if they want players. So I think that's the best way to go forward with it at the moment. A permanent signing, I'm for it, but I don't want it to go above 80 million. If I'm being honest, I don't think it'd be worth paying excess amount of 80 million. Sorry. So
I mean,
we see.
Sorry, mate. I just want to say on the flip side, like we've got a lot of sellable assets this summer. A lot of players are going to leave. We could probably make Felix's transfer fee through player sales anyway. So are we actually we are spending that money, but it's not money that. Do you know what I mean? We could easily raise those funds through player sales to get him. But I do get what you're saying. I mean, do you think there's space for him? Do you think? I can't see Havertz leaving. If I'm being honest.
I think out of the three, I think Havertz will be most likely to leave. To be honest, now that he's had a chance, he's had about. Third or fourth season?
This will be his third season coming up, yeah.
Third season. And what it's funny you mentioned about player sales is how we sort of bought Lukaku, wasn't it, through that season where we sold all our assets in that season. We sold Mark Gay, we sold I can't remember who else, but we basically accumulated at least 100 million in that season to buy Lukaku. So it's possible with these players that we got as well, like at least like from the top of my head, we can get rid of at least 10 to 12 of them. That's not even like considering the loan players as well. So it is possible to build the transfer fee up regarding that as well. But I think with Felix as well, I think a lot of people frustrate because the output's not necessarily there, but you can see,
Output's not
you
there
just know
from
in our
anyone.
attack, like, yeah, well, yeah, it's not there for anyone, that's true. But I think from what you see in the attack compared to what we've seen before, we see a bit more fluidity in the way with Felix. He draws in fouls, he dribbles past people, his trickery is really good as well. So, yeah, I think he'll be one of those players where if he has elite finishers next to him, I think he'll really flourish. And I think it'll be frustrating as well if we see him go to a rival. Like, imagine how well he'd do at City, Arsenal, Manchester United as well, or even Liverpool. Like how well he would do at those clubs with the systems that they've got in place, especially at Arsenal. Like he'll tear the league apart if he moves to Arsenal, for example. So that's one of the other reasons as well why I sort of keep him. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think we do need to keep him. I think we can keep him. I think he wants to stay. I'm not sure if there's a way back at Atletico Madrid or he necessarily wants to be there. It is going to be a larger fee, but as we said, we've got a lot of players to sell this summer, and we could easily raise those funds. And if he wants to be here, then I'm more than happy to keep him, and he's definitely of the required quality to be a big part of the plans going forward. So let's kind of see what happens with that one. But I think the plans are definitely to keep him. But again, you could see another loan, maybe with an obligation at the end of the following season. That might make more sense. But let's wait and see. But definitely positive feelings on Felix and him staying at the club for sure. Let's move more towards Madrid now, mate. I mean, there's not too much other Chelsea news that's been going on in the last few days. I mean, the managerial stuff seems to have all gone a little bit quiet.
That's good news.
Which
gone quiet.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that nothing's happening, but in terms of like updates that have been made public, there's not really any new news. I mean, when do you envisage someone being appointed? Because obviously, we don't obviously with Nagelsmann and Enrique kind of seem to be leading the race. You get to the summer and other top jobs are going to be available. I mean, I guess it's for you, mate. For me personally, I think it's important that we get some sort of agreement in place and announced before the end of the season, because I just worry that if it goes to the summer and then you're suddenly competing with Real Madrid and PSG potentially, who will be looking for new managers possibly, that we then suddenly aren't as attractive. Like whatever happens, this is an attractive project for sure, but when Real Madrid knock on the door, you don't say no to them. I mean, is it a concern for you that if we don't get this done by the end of the season and other top jobs become available, we may not get who we really, really want?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think agreement has to be sort of in place by the end of the season. By end of May, I'm giving this to like if we haven't got an agreement before then like next season is just going to be the same as this season, if I'm being honest. And I'm two ways about it, to be honest. I'm glad the ownership are sort of taking time with it at the same time, but not really having anyone lined up at the moment is a bit frustrating in that way, and you can understand why. But as long as we're not rushing it and we're making the right decision, then I'll be cool with it. So I think I'll give it another month or so. I think that's when we'll sort of have an agreement in place. I think by start of May, I think, or like towards the end of the season, I think we'll have someone in place that can just walk straight in and take over, to be honest. Well, whoever that is, I don't know.
Yeah,
but, yeah.
And is your guy still who do you want? Who's your preference? Have you kind of switched from kind of what you were thinking a few weeks ago? You still were you Nagelsmann or were you Enrique? I
was Nagelsmann.
Still Nagelsmann.
I think, yeah. I still am, but I'm slowly growing to Enrique. I think some of the stuff that I've heard and listened to, like I'm kind of swayed more towards Enrique in a way. But yeah, it's a tough one, to be honest. I'd say I'm maybe 60% Nagelsmann, 40% Enrique, to be honest. But I think that's just going to keep growing closer and closer. It'll be like 50-50 by next week or something, or the week after. It's one of them. But yeah, let's just see who it is, and then we can make a full judgment once it's actually official.
Yeah.
By then, and yeah, personally, I don't mind Pochettino. I don't know about you, but
I wouldn't be massively keen on that. But at the same time, I would obviously back it and I would support it. And ultimately, I trust the people that have been put in place to pick the right person.
A lot of people writing off Poch. I don't know why. Like, what's he done bad? Like,
what I would say is that, like, just because you've not won anything doesn't mean. I mean, obviously he's won the league at PSG and whatnot, but I mean, just because you've not necessarily been a serial winner, it doesn't mean you're not a good coach or you're not a good manager. And like, if we're being realistic, take Chelsea out of it, as in like the name of the club. If you just put that project on the table and said, "Oh, who do you think would be a really good fit for this?" If you just had the situation down on the table, regardless of the name of the club, Poch's name would appear multiple times, because this is the sort of thing that is exactly suited to what he does as a manager. But yeah, there doesn't seem to be. I mean, apparently they're going to speak to him and whatnot, but I mean, there's not really been any sort of concrete links or updates with Poch and co, really. So I don't really know. I wouldn't say no, but you know, new managers are going to need time when they come in. He's going to need time to assess the players, assess the group. So let's wait and see. But yeah,
I think a lot of people are. I think the reason why a lot of people are against it because he's Tottenham. Like, regardless of what we think of Tottenham, like when he was there, when it was sort of Tottenham's peak, they were playing some really
kind
good
of
football.
like golden period, even though they didn't win anything. That was
exactly,
when they were their best.
But you have to admit, for at least 2 or 3 seasons, they were playing really good football.
Yeah,
and they're obviously grinding out results, getting results. Their players on fire, like obviously Harry Kane's on at the time, Dele Alli as well. Regardless, I know it's obviously Tottenham. We hate Tottenham and stuff, but at the same time, you have to put that you have to appreciate sort of like good football in a way, regardless of the rivals. Even Arsenal this season, we all hate Arsenal in a way. We don't want them to win the league, but you can't just say they're not good, because this season they are playing really good football. So
yeah.
With regards to that, like I just think it's the Tottenham connection that's putting a lot of Chelsea fans off, which shouldn't matter, to be honest.
No, I don't really. I mean, once they're in Stamford Bridge and once they're a Chelsea manager, anything that's happened before is kind of irrelevant for me. If I'm being totally honest,
like Rafa as well.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness,
I
mean, I know Rafa wasn't a popular appointment, but he didn't actually do that bad. He won us the Europa League. It wasn't awful. So let's wait and see. But yeah, it has gone a bit quiet on that. There really isn't an awful lot to update on the manager situation, which I guess is good, kind of working in silence. So when there's any major updates required, then we'll get them. Guys, keep smashing the likes on the stream. Let's get those likes up. If you're tuning in now and you've not smashed a like, just make sure you do. Let's get this to 20 likes at least, guys. So keep smashing the likes, get us up to 20 on the stream. Would massively appreciate it. Let's have a quick look at a few more things in the chat. Let's have a look. Think we would struggle to get 45 million for Havertz? Yeah, we probably would. If we got between 40 and 50 for Havertz, if someone offered that, I think you have to take it. I don't think you're getting much more than that. Yeah, I think both of those will go. Ziyech and Pulisic will be moved on. Felix has consistently average numbers over the last 3 years. Felix is not a prolific player, but again, he's 22 years of age. He's got undoubted ability, and he will get better with age. Yes, the underlying numbers aren't amazing, but football is more than just numbers. You know, you can look at numbers and think, oh, someone's shit, but actually, you know, Felix is much better than what his numbers would suggest. But absolutely, those numbers do need to improve. Madrid struggle against high possession teams. I mean, I've not actually, to be fair, outside of Champions League, I haven't really watched that much of Real Madrid.
Same.
Gallagher, Loftus-Cheek, Martin, Broja will be sold. I mean, I look at Broja and I think ACL injuries coming back. He did literally signed a 6-year deal in September. I'd be shocked if he was sold. I think he could go on loan. That would be my thing. But I think the likes of Martin, Gallagher, and Loftus-Cheek could all be sold. I think 2 of those 3 will be sold. What else we got here? Gallardo at River Plate. Yeah, I mean that's some link that's come from some kind of bit of a random source somewhere in South America. I don't think it's particularly accurate. And again, Gallardo has been linked with jobs in Europe on numerous occasions and has never gone. I'm not saying he's a bad coach. He's done very well at River Plate and his work's highly respected. But I think going straight from there to Chelsea would be too big of a step. I think you'd need to go to maybe somewhere in Italy or somewhere in Germany or Spain or wherever, build himself, take that next step before then coming to a big job in the Premier League. So as we've seen before, you know, Graham Potter, very good coach. Step up to Chelsea was too big for him at that point in time. And I think it could be similar for Gallardo. But undoubtedly a very good coach. But I think he needs like another step before going to a big job. if City go past Bayern, it's better to let Madrid pass. Otherwise, City are winning it. Oh, I don't know about that. I think we can beat City, possibly. City probably winning it. Yeah, they're now 2-0 up.
I mean, Bernardo scored.
Bernardo Silva.
No,
Mate, Bernardo Silva's been pretty decent, hasn't he? This for City. I mean,
mate, everyone at City is just so good, man. It's just like any of them just walk into our team. Like, I can't think of one player that doesn't walk into our team from City.
If we're being honest, City are just on a different planet right now. I mean, the Bayern are decent, but they're not that decent. They're not amazing.
They're very beatable. Yeah,
they are very, very beatable. And obviously Tuchel, he's been there a couple of weeks. It's pretty tough. But I mean, they let one more in, they're finished. That's pretty much tie over already before you even get to the halfway stage. Let's throw it forward then, mate. Tactics, Lampard. What were your thoughts on the fact that he decided to go with the back four, against Wolves? It was I like myself and a lot of fans were very, very surprised that he decided to go with the four when it clearly doesn't work. He would have watched Chelsea this season during his time between Everton and taking this job on, and could have clearly seen that the back four doesn't work at Chelsea. We haven't got the personnel for it. Well, I mean, why do you think he went with it?
To be honest, bro, I'm not that surprised he went with the back four. He's always sort of preferred that system. When he was at Derby, when he was with us as well. It's only a couple of times he played the back three, and then even at Everton, he played the back four constantly. So I wasn't really that surprised he went with the back four. But I think he probably saw the new players that we sort of had, like Koulibaly, Sterling, who else, Fofana, Cucurella, and all the other signings that we sort of made in January and the summer, and thought, okay, yeah, I can possibly play a back four with these guys, but with my sort of weight. But obviously, it didn't work out on Saturday. But I don't really expect Frank Lampard to change it, and I personally hate the back four. Like, I prefer the back three. I think we play so much better. When we have performed well this season, it's been in the back three, and we get the best out of our wing backs, and we get the best out of our midfield as well as our centre backs as well. So, yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not surprised he went with the back four, and I just don't think it works with without a proper DM in our team.
No, it doesn't, mate. And I just hope that he does revert to the back three for tomorrow night. I mean, for me, it's the only logical decision to go with. We've played a back four a bit this season. It's not worked. We've been having, when we've had our success, we've had it with the back three. This season, the little success that we have had. So it would make sense to go with that and go with what plays to our strengths. So I hope that he's realised that that was a mistake, and that he makes that decision to switch it back. But then equally, whether it's a 3-4-3 or whether it's a 3-5-2, I think either could work. I mean, I personally prefer a 3-4-3 because we've got a plethora of wide players. So why would you use a system that doesn't utilise any of them? But at the same time, you think, do you want an extra man in that midfield? Would you want to go, say, Kante and Enzo up against Tchouaméni, Kroos and Modric, or Tchouaméni, Camavinga and Modric, or Valverde, or whatever it is? Would you want to match Madrid up 3v3 in the middle? You might well want to do that. So maybe 3-4-3 or 3-5-2 could be the way to go. But I mean, on obviously Lampard had his presser a few hours earlier today. On the character, he was speaking about. He was saying, that it gets questioned in defeat. Players prove it on the pitch. A lot of work we do behind the scenes. My job is to convey to them the need to train at a level, have the mentality. They have to show it. I mean, this has been going on for years now. Managers talking about mentality and I'm not saying Lampard's questioning the mentality here, but he has questioned it in the past in his previous spell here. There's clearly a fundamental mentality issue at Chelsea, and there has been for a number of years now. I mean, what do you think? What do you think the problem is, mate? Why do you think the whatever group we seem to have seems to have mentality issues? Because we can't seem to shake them off.
I think it's got to do with money. I think with players being on high wages, I think that's played a factor in terms of comfort as well. There's not too much competition in the team, if we're being honest, in terms of quality. I know we've got obviously 33, 35 players, but there's not really anyone that sort of stands out apart from one or two. So I just think it's about comfort and relaxation. So Yeah, with regards to mentality issues, I know Sari's obviously banged on about it. Kante as well has gone back all the way to those sort of
Well,
seasons. So
Mourinho as well mentioned it.
Jose, yeah,
Yeah.
as well. So it's not really a surprise to me. And realistically, in the dressing room, how many leaders do we have? Thiago Silva. It's the one that probably stands out to me as as a proper leader. I know obviously you got other sort of leaders like maybe Kovacic, who's been a captain. You got Aspilicueta, who I don't really think is that much of a leader. I know he's obviously the captain, but he's not. He doesn't really show the qualities of a captain or a leader. You've got who else? N'Golo Kante doesn't come across as the guy who's a leader, I guess, as well. Yeah, I think Thiago Silva's probably the only one that's a leader in our dressing room. And then in our title winning team, like when you looked at the team, like almost the whole 11 were leaders. Like you can just tell they were leaders. So yeah.
I mean, a lack of leaders on the pitch is a massive problem for us. I don't really know how we resolve it. I guess you have to hope that some of the players we've signed grow into the role of being a leader and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know, mate. There's clearly a lack of leaders, but how big a plus is the return of N'Golo Kante and the fact that Thiago Silva's fit again? I mean, those are two guys that are going to make a massive, massive difference. Do you think that? I mean, how much help do you think that's going to be? It's going to be a help, but do you think that's enough help to get us a positive result, or are we going to need more than that?
I think it'll be a bit bearable having both of them in the team because I think they're two of our most important players in terms of, as I mentioned about leadership with Thiago Silva and experience with N'Golo Kante to battle that midfield. So yeah, it's really, really crucial that they're back because we're going to need that for tomorrow. Otherwise, it would literally be a cricket score tomorrow without them. So yeah.
I mean, I think to be honest, mate, it's City are already through to the quarterfinals.
Haaland scored
3-0 up, mate. That's it. That's it. They're I think Bayern are finished there. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, also something important to note as well is the fact that we've still got a number of very key players that, if they pick up a booking, are going to be ruled out of the second leg. That's something that's, we're going to have to keep an eye on. We're going to have to keep a lid on, our discipline, make sure we don't commit any stupid fouls. Because if we are still in the tie for the second leg and we're missing a number of players that are going to be important for us, then that's going to be a real problem. I'm just going to try and quickly find the list now. Yeah, I've got it here. Let me just bring it up on screen. I mean, it's quite some list as well. It really is. There's a lot of players that are potentially going to be missing from the second leg. So on bookings that will be suspended for the second leg if they pick up a yellow tomorrow: Mudryk, Koulibaly, James, Gallagher, Enzo, Thiago Silva, and Kepa. I mean, Jesus. I mean, Dharmesh, you look at that and you just think, even a couple of them, we're in big trouble for the second leg if we're still in the tie.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at the names again. So yeah, Mudryk, Koulibaly, James. Oh god, yeah. And apparently the referee tomorrow as well. I think Pies was doing some research earlier. I think he was saying on the stream earlier that this referee that refereeing tomorrow, I think, is giving out quite a lot of yellow cards in our game. So yeah, I won't be surprised. And yeah, we just have to be careful, I guess. Try not to commit any silly fouls at the start. And yeah, no doubt there'll probably be yellow cards coming in because it's Real Madrid and we're gonna have to make those sort of tackles if we want to get a result. So
yeah, I mean, I guess the ones you don't want are really, if you were picking from that list, obviously you don't really want any of them missing, but I guess you just don't want James, Silva, or Enzo to be missing. Like, obviously, if Gallagher, Koulibaly, and Mudryk were to miss out, I mean, there's kind of cover there. The other ones are all absolutely vital to what we do. So we're just going to have to hope that, discipline, don't make any sloppy tackles, don't miss time. I know it's easier said than done, but we would be putting ourselves at a big disadvantage if we somehow got ourselves in a good position to then suddenly be missing key players. That's not what you want at all. We've got.
I think the ones I'm worried about yellow card is probably James and Enzo. I think if anyone, because we've seen they can be a bit rash at times and commit that yellow card. Whereas I think Thiago Silva will be fine. He knows every.
I mean, he might not even. To be honest, mate, he might not even play.
Oh yeah,
like there is a chance. But let's wait and see, mate. I think good chance now. Let's get into the let's get into the starting lineup. Let's get to the last few things in the chat. Imagine City winning Premier League and Champions League. Very possible. They're also in the they're also in the FA Cup. They'll easily make the final there. They've got Sheffield United at Wembley. That shouldn't be a problem. Real Madrid beat them in the semis. I mean, City are looking like a team that it could be their year in the Champions League this year, but then we've said that on a number of years before. So let's wait and see. But they are dismantling Bayern. I prefer Arsenal to win the Premier League if City will win Champions League. Oh, absolutely not. I don't want Arsenal to be winning anything.
God no.
Justice for Nagelsmann. I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, Tuchel, it's a tough start. You know, it's a difficult job at Bayern. And Bayern's one of them teams, you know, I know the Bundesliga is more competitive than, say, the French league, but it's still very much kind of a one league team, really, if we're being honest. Yes, it's much closer with Dortmund this year, but generally speaking, Bayern have won, the last 10 Bundesligas in a row, or 9 of the last 10 or whatever it is. It's not a competitive league. You know, you're judged on what you do in the Champions League, and when did Bayern last win the Champions League? Oh, the COVID Champions League, yeah. And since then, they've not really been.
Got knocked out by Villarreal last year, didn't they?
Got knocked out by Villarreal last year, yeah. So it's not going particularly well. But yeah, guys, keep smashing the likes on the stream. Let's get this up to 20 likes now. You know, you can do this, guys. Let's get it up to 20. Keep smashing the likes. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already as well, guys. We are 7 likes from 20, so let's at least get to that 20 like mark. It would massively help me out, and it would mean. And it means more than you can imagine. It helps me out a lot. So please do that and subscribe to the channel as well whilst you're at it. Let's get it up to 20, guys. Go. Dharmesh, I've got it as a back 3 because it simply has to be a back 3. We could be wrong here, but starting in goal, obviously going to be Kepa. I mean, mate, what did you make of it on the weekend? Because I've seen some people saying that perhaps he should have done better with that Nunez goal. I think that's particularly quite harsh.
Nah, no chance, bro. Like, I know that lots of people probably see the screenshot, but that ball was literally flown like over 100 miles per hour. No, I don't think any keeper saving that, to be honest. Maybe if it was a bit taller, but I doubt it. It was such a good hit. I mean, you just have to hold your hands up as a fair play.
Yeah, you do. You do just have to hold your hands up. Also interesting that Inter are winning 2-0 against Benfica as well.
Oh, are they?
Away from home in that leg. Yeah, I mean, that is quite interesting. I mean, that side of the draw is really opening up. Not more than it already has. I mean, obviously, Kepa in goal. That's kind of fairly straightforward. Back 3 for you, mate. I've seen people in the chat talking about Reece James playing at right centre back. He played there last year to combat Vinicius. But the one key difference for me is we've now got Wesley Fofana. So I actually don't think we need Reece James to play right centre back. I mean, would you agree on that?
I mean, if I saw it in the lineup tomorrow, I wouldn't be too against it. Just because I know that we have that defensive stability on that right hand side coming up against Vinicius. But the concern for me is who would play right wing back if we
exactly
there's just no point. So yeah, the back 3 are probably obviously if Silva's fit, Silva plays with Fofana, and for me it would be Cucurella left centre back. In my opinion, I'd probably play Cucurella left centre back.
And what, you go Koulibaly middle and Fofana on the right?
No. So if Silva's fit, play Silva and Fofana.
Do we think Silva's going to be fit though? I mean, it's a big ask to just chuck him straight back in. But do you know what? This is our biggest game of the season, and we're at a point where we have to take risks.
He did train today, didn't he? He was in full team training, his travel and stuff. So yeah,
mate, I think we have to take risks here. We have to go for it.
Yeah. I think he'll play. If not, then I definitely think he'll play a part in the game. If not, it'll be Koulibaly in the middle.
I think we have to go with this, and it might seem a bit harsh on Koulibaly, but I actually think Cucurella as a left centre back would be better than him.
Pass better than Koulibaly. He'll step into midfield at times as well when we need him. Can play under pressure as well when Real press us. So I think that'll be key for us, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree as well, mate. I think that's what we have to go with. And I think, to be honest, that probably is our best back line in terms of a 3. I mean, you could argue possibly Koulibaly instead of Cucurella, but I mean, I think that really is the best back line. In terms of fullbacks, mate, wing backs even, it's kind of obvious.
Yourself, yeah.
James and Chilwell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. I mean, do you think he will go? Do you think there's a chance he does go if he goes back three? Do you think he goes? I mean, I suspect there could be a chance we see a 3-5-2,
Yeah,
possibly.
I mean, I said on Lawrence's stream earlier, I prefer the 3-5-2 just for this game to sort of combat Reggie's three midfield, and obviously with Valverde as well, like floating in as like a right mid slash midfielder as well. So yeah, I won't be more inclined to go with the 3-5-2 if I'm being honest. But if you want to keep it as 3-4-3, I'm fine with that also.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we could. There's multiple options there. I mean, in the midfield, mate, for you in the pivot, I guess it would be a bit harsh on Cora potentially, but mate, it's got to be. It has to be Enzo. Has
You
to
did
be
the
Enzo.
press conference that didn't he as well? So
Yeah,
that probably means
I
he
mean,
starts.
he started every game since he's been here. We know he's going to start, and
Yeah.
Kante, having been left out the squad, is surely going to start. I mean, Enzo Kante pivot for you, if that's what it ends up being.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a midfield two, yeah.
And if not,
honestly,
Cover will just come in if it's a three, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's someone in the chat put Enzo Zakaria. Like, I've been
Mate,
crying out for
Zakaria's
this
not.
pivot in ages.
I mean,
man.
I would like to have seen it, but we're not going to see it for the first time here. And Zakaria has not played, I don't think, since Tottenham away, which was in February.
Really?
No, I don't think he has.
Well, okay, no, I didn't know that, but yeah, I mean, like if we are to go with the 3-5-2, then it'd be obvious they'll probably stick Kovacic as an extra midfielder in there. But if we're going for a 3-4-3, then yeah, probably Enzo and Kante. But then again, would Lampard necessarily drop Kovacic, seeing as he's obviously an ex-Real player, he's experienced as well. I really don't see us going with a two-man midfield. I think regardless, it'll be three-man midfield, whether that's a 4-3-3 if Lampard goes for that. I think that'll be the midfield: Enzo, Kante, and Kovacic, or Enzo and Kova. Because I just don't know what Lampard's going to do. But yeah,
you don't know what he's going to do. I mean, Enzo if it does, Enzo will end up being that like at Wolves, Enzo will end up being the 6. And he was having to play so deep. He was almost acting as a third centre back at times.
Oh, was he really? Wow.
Yeah, mate, he was having to come so deep. It's annoying, but it is annoying because you don't get that. You don't get that that ability of Enzo further up the pitch to pick out those key passes and have more of an influence on proceedings. I mean, he can do the job as a 6, but he definitely isn't a natural 6 at all. Let's move this on to the front three, mate. I mean, do you think Mason Mount was in training again? Another one that's not played since February, away at Tottenham. I mean, do you think there's any chance he comes into the front line or into the lineup at all, mate? Because he did score in a Bernabeu last year, but again, how fit really is he, having played no football since the end of February?
I personally don't want Mount to start, but if Lampard's picking the team, I won't be surprised if he does start. I wouldn't start Mount tomorrow if I'm being honest. Like, he'll definitely play games, but I just don't think he should play tomorrow's game. If anything, just chuck him in against Brighton, I guess.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think it would make if Mount's fit, it would make sense for him to have some bench minutes, because he's not played for so long. So let's wait and see. But in terms of right hand side for me, mate, I think my front three personally would be Felix, Sterling, Mudryk. Sterling on the right, Felix down the middle, Mudryk left. Obviously, it can kind of rotate, but I mean, what would yours be?
What? So you said what? Mudryk, Felix, and Sterling. You said, yeah.
Yeah.
Tough. It's hard, man.
I don't think Pulisic starts.
Yeah, it's just whether I go with. I've got a feeling it'll be Sterling, Havertz, and Felix. I think.
I think it might be that as well. But I mean, I think Mudryk should play. I think the pace we can get at that defense.
Yeah, that's true. Like, if it's the front three that I want, then I'll probably say Mudryk, Felix, and Sterling. If that's the front three I want, but what it realistically will be Havertz, Felix, and Sterling.
I think. I mean, we're going with what we want to do.
Yeah.
But I think if Lampard. I think we'll see. I honestly think we'll see the same front three as Wolves.
Yeah. I mean, it won't surprise me at all. Like, obviously, this is the team that we want. We don't even know if Lampard will go with the back three. Sorry,
no.
To be honest. So,
I mean, if he was to go with a back four, like just to play devil's advocate, a back four.
Yeah.
you obviously go Silva and Fofana, James and Chilwell as the fullbacks, and then what, Enzo as a 6, Kante and Cover as 8s, or could even be Kante and Mount as 8s.
Yeah, I could see that happening, or maybe Gallagher, mate, or God forbid, Gallagher probably start again.
I suspect it would be Enzo, Kante, and Cover. I do think that. But I mean, the back 3, back 4, it would go to that 3-man midfield. It's the same thing. You probably, I mean, if you go with a 3-5-2, I'd be tempted to go Felix and Mudryk just for pace and that. But I mean, if it's a 3-5-2, I don't think Sterling plays. I think you'd go Felix, Havertz.
I think one thing though is probably with Havertz. I think at least like he has sort of that kind of link-up play with Felix. He's played with him alongside him for a long time.
Yeah.
So if it is a 3-5-2, I could see Felix and Havertz taking up the front 2 spots. But yeah, I don't know, to be honest, bro. It'd be interesting to see what kind of team he puts up tomorrow. But look at this team now, bro. I think looks pretty good.
I mean, it does look pretty good when you look at it. But I mean, how many times have we said that this season? The team looks decent when you see it on paper, and then the reality of the situation is actually when we get to playing, we're quite shit. So it's gonna be tough. But like it's a needs must situation here. Ideally, you probably wouldn't take a risk with Silva, but we have to. And that's kind of just the way it is. Kante, we have to play him. Simple as that. But it's certainly going to be interesting. But there are options for tomorrow. But I do feel that Lampard has got to go with the 3. He has to. I just hope he's learnt from what he saw at Wolves and just what's happened in general at Chelsea this season. Please, 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 just play the back 3. Again, he could go 5-4-1. I mean. Yeah, possible. You could have Enzo, Kante, Cover, and Mount, and then you just have Felix or Havertz up on his own. I mean, it's possible. I'm not too sure. Guys, keep smashing the likes on the stream. By the way, let's get this to 20 likes. We've got 5 more to go, guys. So 5 more likes up to that 20 mark. Let's get to that 20 likes mark. So keep hitting the likes, people. Keep hitting those likes. Mate, that's pretty close to rounding this one out. What are your last thoughts going into this one tomorrow then? Our biggest game of the season. How do you feel about it?
Do you know what we should do, bro? Just get that Drogba motivational speech up for the final. Just get that up again.
The 2012 final?
No, it was before the Champions League final a couple of years ago.
The one he sent in. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Just show that to the players, bro. But yeah, in all seriousness, like as long as we can keep the aggregate score down to 2, I think we've got a chance. I think anything beyond 2 will be difficult, but anything below 2, I think there's still a real chance. And yeah, let's try and frustrate them, because I think they often struggle when teams sit back instead of teams that go for them. Like we see with Liverpool, just go like 100 miles per hour, like pressing them, and I think they thrive off that with the players that they got. But I think if we sit and frustrate them, I think that'll suit us, and we kind of suit us sort of being the underdogs as well. Like I can't remember the last time we sort of gone into a Champions League game being the favourites to us, and that's how we sort of won the Champions League, by being the underdogs when nobody sort of gave us a chance. So yeah, let's just see tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah, let's just see tomorrow. I mean, mate, what's the score prediction for tomorrow?
For being honest, I think
stay in the tie.
Literally just stay the tie. My gut says it'll be 2-1 Madrid. I don't think it'll be a battering, if I'm being honest. I definitely think we'll score, but I don't think they'll score a lot, if that makes sense. I think it'll just be a tight 2-1.
Yeah,
something to take off to the bridge. Like I wouldn't mind a 2-1 loss, to be honest, tomorrow. I think that'll suit us quite well. Obviously, win would be the perfect scenario for us. And a draw as well. But yeah, I say 2-1.
If I'm being totally honest, as much as I'd like to be optimistic, we've got no evidence to be optimistic in going into any games this season. If I'm being real, mate, I think we're going to lose 2 or 3-1. I'll say we'll lose 2-1. The key for me is we cannot afford to come back being more than a goal behind. Anything more than a goal behind, and I think we're done.
You think? Even 2? You think?
2 goals behind, we're done, mate.
You think?
No, they're not scoring 3 at home without conceding to Madrid.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, didn't think of that.
I don't
Yeah.
think so. Look, mate, I'd sign for a 2-1 loss right now.
Yeah, 2-1. Yeah, I'll take that.
That's a good result, and I would definitely take that. I predict we play well and waste a ton of chances in a 2-0 loss. Well, let's wait and see.
It'll be so Chelsea if that happens. Honestly.
If we get a draw tomorrow, we'll win the lottery on Friday. I mean, if we win tomorrow, I might enter the lottery on Friday. Let's have a look. 1-1 draw, 2-1 Madrid, bring it back to the bridge. Yep, let's bring it back. Benzema scores 1. I don't know who will score for us, but hopefully 1-1. I don't care who scores for us or how it goes into the back of the net. Just fucking get the ball in the net. Simple as that.
Somehow.
Can't see us scoring. I would 2-1 good result, not bad. Can't see us scoring. I mean, mate, obviously they didn't score on Saturday. That was the 3rd time this season, by the way, that we've gone 3 games on the spin without scoring. It's happened 3 times. It's happened 3 times this season already.
Yeah, it won't surprise me at all.
Mate, do you think we actually can score a goal tomorrow? I know that sounds stupid, but I mean,
I think we can. I mean, we say that about every game, man. We can. We're capable, but it's just whether we actually sort of convert our chances. That's the thing. I mean, we can. Like you said before, Madrid aren't.
They're not amazing, mate. They're 15 points off the pace in La Liga. Yes, they're a different animal in this Champions League, but I mean, you can get them. I mean, mate, how do you think Rudiger's going to be feeling ahead of this one? He's going to be bang up for it, isn't he?
He's going to absolutely destroy our forwards, whoever's playing up front. He's going to piss them off as much as he can. He's going to go on those long runs again. Oh man, just imagine he scores a long shot against us tomorrow. I'm prepping for that, man. Against Kepa and goal as well. I can just see him go for a long shot tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope not. It's going to be difficult. Champions League is different to the Premier League. I mean, mate, last thing, do you think European football actually suits us better?
Yeah, it does, because there's no pressure, there's no expectation, as I mentioned earlier. Nobody's giving us a chance tomorrow, and that's when it sort of suits us, I guess. And
we've got nothing to lose, haven't we?
We don't have to be consistent, like in the Champions League, because it's every so like a few weeks that we sort of play the Champions League. So it's just, if we turn up on the day, that's fine, which we have done in the Champions League. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing with the league. You have to be constantly good for every single week and win.
We haven't been consistently good in the league for
since we won it.
Yeah, we really haven't. I mean, last couple of things in the chat: teamwork and playing for others is key, plus being direct. Yeah, we just got to be direct, have no fear, take a few risks, but not any stupid risks, and we just got to hope for the best. But most of all, just go and enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Play with a smile on your faces. Stay in the tie, keep it solid at the back, and just make the most of your opportunities when you do get them, because we will get some chances tomorrow.
Yeah,
we will get opportunities tomorrow. It's just whether we can take them or not is the big question. It's been the big question all season. Up the Chelsea, yes, British Patriot. Only bad performance we had was when Tuchel got sacked. Oh, what? In the Champions League? Yeah, I mean, that Zagreb game was awful, but it didn't really matter that much ultimately. But all the rest of our Champions League performances have been pretty good. All right, you can say the 1-1 draw in Potter's first game in charge at home to Salzburg wasn't amazing, but that was kind of a predictable result. But all the big games we've played really well and we've picked up decent results. So, yeah, let's hope for the same tomorrow, but we are going to need a miracle in Madrid. Guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, massively appreciate it. Keep smashing the likes on the stream on the way out, guys. We haven't quite reached that 20 mark yet. Need 4 more likes, people. So 3 more now. Get those likes up, guys. We're not going to round this one out until the 20 likes are hit. So please smash the likes if you haven't done so already, people. Let's get it up to 20. You can do this, guys. It would really help me out. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Let's hope for a positive performance in the Bernabeu tomorrow. Fingers crossed for the boys. Hopefully we can have something positive to shout about this season. I'll be back tomorrow straight after the game with a live match reaction and player rating stream. So hopefully that'll be in better spirits than most of them have been this season. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. But until then, guys, take care, up the Chelsea, and catch you again soon.